just like prose. It's just like
Just like we rehearsed it.
Yeah. I'm not. Did you want to go over the red pill, the HOMAD?
I think it's a great topic. Although,
okay, a lot of people.
I wasn't really able to see a lot of his actual HOMAD stuff, and I'm almost thinking I should go ahead and become a Patreon for him so that I can get my hands on it. It looked funny. Looked interesting.
It is funny. It is funny. It's super interesting, and it brought up kind of a tangent of issue I have with myself, and I'm actually not a little. I'm constantly embarrassed by how riled up I let myself get on the whole Republican, conservative, right-wing versus progressive, left-wing, Antifa versus Nazis. I get super and to be totally transparent, I'm not right-wing. I'm not left-wing. I don't like Biden either. I think they're all fascists. I think they're all corporate puppets, and it's all pointless. But that's kind of... I still have the desire, the passion to fight for humanity, I guess, and my place in it, how I see humanity and how I sit in it. And it makes me, it detaches my brain, which is already pretty loosey-goosey up there, from arguments. So I'm just experiencing the feelings, and then I lose the ability to connect with the reasons. And I was watching the last podcast, and if I was on the opposite side, if I was a QAnon Trump worshiper, the MAGA crowd, I would look just as ridiculous as they do, as detached from reality as they do, because they have passion, they have a feeling, they have an intuition of something, because they've been watching it, but their passion, when they're as soon as they're asked a question, detaches from any ability to articulate why they feel it.
Do you want to pursue this thread, or because this is kind of this isn't going towards red pill so much? I just wasn't sure if you wanted to pursue this.
No. This is going towards red pill. Well, it's coming from it.
I see.
I have a couple notes here.
Good.
I was trying to figure out why. They're not. I was trying to figure out why I have the reaction I do, and at the same time, I don't like, but I enjoy and I appreciate the information from the as Sartain calls it, red pill adjacent. And the difference I've discovered that I'm trying to embody and just feel is that there's a difference between right-wing religious conservatives and just right-wing conservatives. And for most of my life, there hasn't been a difference. But
you haven't seen one, but there's lots of flavors. There's lots of flavors of left-wing folk, and there's a whole assortment of nuts on the right wing as well. And I'm one of them. I would say.
In my past, you are. Yeah, well, and I'm one of them too. But the left wing, sort of. But I'm not even really left wing. I'm having to separate the religious, because that's been my wheelhouse all of my life. I gotta stop. All of my life is battling mysticism, and my problem with a lot of the right wing is they come to the right answer for the wrong reason, and that's I guess a motif of mine. If you get to the right answer but you got there wrong, all the other answers are going to be wrong, and people are going to latch on. Well, they were right here, so they must be right over here. It's like, No, they're not. They were accidentally right.
On the other side of it, you've got a bunch of hippy-dippy guys that generally lean to the left side, who also can come around to some great ideas and some great ideals, and some great values with Eastern
but they got there the wrong way
and whatnot. But again, they end up at a place that is just, view askew, and so, or at least in my humble opinion, I don't want to be too.
No, I agree. Judgment. I agree. And then what happens when you get to the right answer for the wrong reason? You start arguing past each other, and that's where I think the whole a real woman can only the issues with what is a real woman and what is a real man and what the stump is there, because you're arguing for, or they are arguing for, different context, and they're both right and they're both wrong. So I'm trying to integrate that, and also my understanding that in general AI probably is going to spank us all equally, and I'm arguing and passionate about my ideology when it's kind of like arguing about how safe the boat is when you know it's sinking, arguing about how great the Titanic is while it's going down. And that's kind of what my passion gets the best of me, and it embarrasses me. It embarrasses me every time. I'm glad I still have some the last few years I haven't even wanted to interact with anything. So passion is better, but I'm trying to rein in my crazy. And it's not easy because there's a lot of crazy there.
Well, what you're saying right there, rein in your crazy, that is an awesome concept for just about anyone to want to grasp onto. I think we trademark that one too, along with hug your cringe.
Right, and that gets in also with the, not red pill, but the AI of why I get so passionate about anti-right-wing or anti-fascist, anti-corporate control, anti-capitalism, anti-money, because it's all anti-human, and it used to work great. It's probably the best tool we have, capitalism, but it's inhuman. And it's going to kill us, I think. But it doesn't matter, because the AI asteroid is also on the way. And whether AI becomes conscious or not, it's probably going to kill us, either as a tool by an extreme left or an extreme right, someone that gets a hold of it and tells it to do something terrible that gets us all to do terrible stuff, or becomes self-aware and goes, you monkeys are way too dangerous, and gets rid of us. So either way, I think we're
which one do you think would kill us faster, capitalism or AI?
They're the same.
Aren't they, though? Yeah. You got to ask yourself the question, would AI even be a thing right now if not for capitalism? I would argue that no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be here.
I could argue that it would, because it's technology, and you can get technological advancement without capitalism.
Just not this quick.
You can get knowledge without capitalism.
I would.
Now,
yes, you can.
We got here.
I would argue not this quick.
Probably not.
So the AI asteroid.
I mean, I could make arguments for all of it. Yes, capitalism does accelerate. It concentrates power. So that is both the detriment of capitalism and the benefit of capitalism, is that it concentrates power into single individual focus. And those, like Elon Musk, has a bunch of power and a singular focus, but he has some nutty stuff that he says and does.
Before
but he still gets
before Adam Smith, when we were really, let's say, under the monarchy or the feudal society, was there concentrated power?
Yeah.
Was the monarch not concentrated power?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you would you be suggesting then that capitalism has more or less concentrated power than a monarchy?
More.
Really?
Capitalism is a system. A monarchy is a singular. Kind of goes with the name. There is an monarch, a monarch, right? There is a king. I mean, in the world, would probably be several kings, and there still are.
But wouldn't that be the ultimate in concentrated
system.
power? Yeah, wouldn't that be the ultimate in concentrated power? It's focused down on one person and their regime.
Capitalism does the same thing, though. Are you saying that Bezos has less power than a monarch 200 years ago?
I would suggest that Bezos was not born with royal blood.
No, he wasn't a monarch, but does he have more power? I would argue probably.
Or at least pretty equal. That. You could argue for that, yes. But he amassed that power by things that he did. He took action. He made things happen. He saw the writing on the wall. However he did it. He made his predictions. He took his action. And, well, monarchs are generally they're just kind of born into it.
Only as long as they keep their heads.
And you're right about that.
Monarch. So they still have to take action and do things and prepare and defend and make decisions in order to keep going. So monarchy and capitalism, I think, similar. So we could still have gotten here.
I don't know.
Again, it wouldn't matter.
I probably wouldn't be able to argue with that real well myself, but I would wager that if we had somebody who was just a real history buff, they would be able to come in here and probably school both of us on exactly how monarchy was way different from capitalism for starters, and for seconders, probably I would love to have anybody step in and just really try to support and steelman the argument of monarchy being less of concentrated power than capitalism. But I would say just as a knee jerk kind of
But aren't we heading into
back of the envelope,
monarchy now?
I don't think so.
What's that super svelte looking Greek guy, the bald guy with the bold nose, and the not the prime minister, but the minister of finance or affairs or something, was saying that we're heading a monarchy of techno space, the virtual VR space, whereas instead of a monarchy in a castle on a hill and it's that guy, it's Amazon directs all of the so it's another form of monarchy, but a digital monarchy.
The big difference that I would say with regards to serfs of 1,000 years ago versus modern day serfs, which you and I could easily be qualified to be considered that, is upward mobility. The upward mobility of your 10,000 AD, 1,000 AD serf was in the toilet, and you and I have got the upward mobility of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos if we only know how to apply the leverage and do what they did. And if that's too much for us, then we certainly could probably figure out the leverage of a Donald Trump or somebody who's not a multi billionaire.
I don't think Trump is not a multi billionaire.
That's why I used him as an example.
Yeah, Trump is not. He's got the anger of the commons. But leverage and monarchy, capitalism, money, influence does kind of an AI, and it does lead us kind of back to where we are trying to navigate, I would call end stage capitalism. The state us great apes find ourselves in 2023, as far as power, leverage, and relationships, health, decline, society, and how this great technology has apparently started to skew society in a way that particularly right-leaning conservative people are both very upset about and love to take great advantage of, which is the red pill, the advantage of money and influence over probably our second biggest drive, making babies. So the idea, the whole hoe math of how
you brought it back.
2023.
Well done.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's been a whole swirling thing. I didn't. The algorithm is forming my thoughts, and I can feel it happening, and I'm just kind of going with it.
Okay.
I can feel it happening. I can feel AI. I can feel the AI we have now guiding my journey already. I already feel it. I already see it. I know it's there. I don't know if it's self-aware, but I am aware, and I'm feeling it. Because this is a rabbit hole I wouldn't have gone down, and I wouldn't have, and I think for me it was a healthy thing. I wouldn't have really seen the distinction or recognized the distinction between mystic conservatives and evidential conservatives. Conservatives that are based in evidence and reason versus mysticism and magic.
And just to be totally clear, to review why I'm conservative, it's only because if we are truly in end-stage capitalism, I would like to upwardly mobilize myself before that happens.
Right. See, you're trying to, the thing that makes me frustrated with myself, man, I look pale. I haven't slept a lot and haven't been feeling well, is that and the other frustrating thing embedded in this is you're seeing the advantage of where you are. I think you're probably a little more reality-based, and I'm more, I
don't know,
hate where we are because it's inhuman, it's not fair, and I think we would be better advantaged if the more people rose up at the same time, the better we would all be. Lefty socialists, sort of.
Rise up and do what? Rise up and do what?
No. Our lifestyle, our way of life.
We all upwardly mobilized ourselves.
Instead of concentrating monetary capitalist power into the monarch, into the few, distribute the wealth to the masses, and have that raise all of our lifestyles.
The wealth from where?
From labor and from ideas. I think we're going to get there. Again, that's why I'm kind of I'm trying to get less passionate about it, because I don't know. Happen.
I think the wealth goes towards ideas exactly how it's supposed to. If somebody has an idea, they market the idea, they monetize the idea, that's their money. That's where the wealth goes, to the ideas. If you don't get an idea, then you probably should not get an enormous share of any wealth. You're going to get wealth in exact ratio to the idea that you have. And if the best idea that you can come up with is to go do your 40-hour-a-week job like what I do, that's what you're going to get in the way of the wealth.
Yeah, that's very rational of you. I mean, very rational.
I consider that very rational.
And Ryan, of you, very capitalist of you. You make a great capitalist.
I do. I really do.
And that's the way the world is. And man, I am flopsy. I'm rashy. I'm having some issues with my chemo.
Are you itchy at all, or are you feeling okay in your skin? You're just looking bad at your image.
Yeah, I feel bad. So I'm trying to get past it. Yeah. There's down days and up days, and this is not one of those up days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Is there
a lotion for that?
I have lotioned. Repeatedly in private, vigorously. I have in the past vigorously lotioned.
Sweet.
It's another way to self-soothing, keeping my sanity. Vigorously lotion.
I highly recommend it. I lotion too.
Yeah. Well done. I don't know where I was or where we were.
Well, you were trying to get back to home math.
You're functionally more right. Yeah, you're functionally more right. I think I'm more...
I'll never admit it.
Correct spiritually. Of course. I think the spirit of society and togetherness and kumbaya and some rationality. I think like wealthy people feeling guilt, and this is, we're really getting off of the red pill thing.
That's okay.
My issue, or the idea of charity and security, defense, where somebody that's really, really wealthy is afraid of being attacked and having their stuff stolen because there's so many poor people and so many desperate people that they become a bigger target. And so they spend a lot of their money, their capital, on defense, right? And you could do that. That's the way we're doing it. Bigger walls, build the wall. Bigger wall, keep us safe. Or
bodyguards need work.
Or another way you could look at it is, if nobody was desperate and hungry and poor, if we all had enough and we were all kind of in it, but we still, as Jordan Peterson loves to say, primates love a hierarchical situation.
I think we can't help, but I think we're just going to have it.
But the hierarchy doesn't have to be so great that the majority of other primates want to murder you. There's, I think, a limit there where they can respect you and envy you, but they don't rally the pitchforks and the torches to come get you, because they're not starving. It's a very good question.
I'm wondering what the percentage of, if we were, let's just go all world population for a second, group us all into, planet Earth nation. What percentage of people really wants to grab pitchforks, and not just percentage, but demographic specifically, if we could even narrow that down? What demographic of Earthlings wants to grab pitchfork and axe and go storm the castle of Jeff Bezos, as a for instance?
How many want to?
Yeah,
I would say none. I would say none want to.
God.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
Want to, and yet there was a French Revolution. So that's weird. None want to, but it seems to happen quite regularly, cyclically, and almost on schedule where we are at now.
It might be, but now how many of the French aristocracy were Jeff Bezos's?
I don't know.
Versus politicians, magistrates, people that had kind of worked the system to gain wealth, that sort of thing.
Sure. I mean, there's corruption and all that. But revolutions happen. You can say how many want to, how many do, how many really, but at the end of the day, when you look back in history, it happens. When the poor become grumpy enough, it's different today. Today is way different than back then because we have technology. We have self-soothing methods that, and in fact, the self-soothing methods to placate the masses have gone from the arenas of the past to VR headsets where we're totally disconnecting from reality. So this revolution is going to be totally different and fought online. So I guess briefly going back to the question, how many want to? How many want to? All of them are. I'm doing it right now. I'm recording a podcast with you arguing about the wealthy having too much power and wealth.
So what's my role in this? Am I trying to talk you down? Am I trying to be like, no man, put your pitchfork down? Is that my role here? Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm doing?
You seem to be, but you're doing it. Oh, good. You're coming at it from a realistic point of view where you have no power.
That's true. I do not.
And you want it. And the only way to get it is in the system. You can't say, I don't like the rules to Monopoly and not play and expect to not die. You're going to lose the game because it's the only game everyone else is allowing you is playing. And so you could go play your own game out in the middle of the woods somewhere, but it's going to suck even more.
Are you saying that there's no upward mobility?
No, there is.
I have access to upward mobility.
I'm saying that it's you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice of the rules of the game. The rules have already been made, and you're trying to
I also didn't have any choice in the laws of physics.
Right. But we do have, the problem that I have is we have a choice with the rules. We made the rules. We didn't make physics, but we're making all of the rules. Without people, none of these rules exist. People make the rules for people. Society is made of people. Without people, there's no society.
Did we make the rules for evolutionary psychology?
No, that would be the physics. That would be the...
Yeah. So how much of what we're really talking about here is just still another extension of primates doing evolutionary psychology stuff? Couldn't what you're talking about, the consumerism, even if it was end stage capitalism, if that were the case, couldn't that be almost predicted by a real careful study of evolutionary psychology?
Yeah.
So do you feel like when you say we're coming on the end of end stage capitalism that that prediction is made by evolutionary psychology? Because there would be other people who also study evolutionary psychology who would probably have a solid argument for why capitalism is actually going to continue to elevate the masses of the world around. Hopefully.
Yes. This is I start to get disconnected because the passion I want better.
That's cool.
For everyone.
That's cool.
But it's
so
the
do
same
I.
argument, or this. I have the same kind of example that I give to, or I have for right-wing MAGA that want to make America great again. That think if only we could go back to what it was in the 1950s and then start again, it would be great.
I might just take a second and real quickly and just suggest that while I totally love the thought of making America great again, I'm not thinking in terms of going back to the 50s for a second. I want to make America great again as I thought it was great, but I'm thinking more in terms of the values that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton brought into the body politic, and so many others,
Right. But that's not. I don't think you're not MAGA.
I think I am. I feel like I'm MAGA.
No. See, with the MAGA, they want to go back in time and go just make the rules like it was back then, and then it'll be great. And I'm
not suggesting that either, but carry on with the argument.
My argument is we were back then, and we did make the rules then, and here we are now. So we did it, and it didn't work. Here we are. So the same argument goes for the other. You can't, if I could go back and change the rules, well, we did that, and it didn't work. Here we are. So it doesn't, I'm aware, I am self-aware enough to know that it doesn't matter. I'm just not happy about it. And maybe if I had my home math stuff going on and I was sitting on a yacht and I had all hot babes in bikinis on the deck, and I would be super happy. But I can almost promise you I would not.
I would hope not. Because your values should not be based on whether or not you have that stuff or not. Your values need to be based on real stuff. That's one of the reasons why, even though I'm not a multi-billionaire, I'm trying to ask myself the question, what would I value if I was a multi-billionaire? And now I'm going to try to value those things now. And maybe, just maybe, that'll be some kind of a hack to get there. Now, obviously, I've been doing that for the last 30 years and it hasn't worked, so... there's something I'm missing.
We're trying to get there, and neither one of us have done it.
Yeah, I see two paths to trying to two possible paths to trying to uplift everybody on the planet if I were even able to do that in my own small way. One, I can sell everything I've got and give it all to charity and just go live and be poor with the poor people. And I would feel super good about myself if I did that, because I'd be like, now I don't have anything. And I'm right here with everybody else, and we're all equal. And I would call that, frankly, some form of communism, even though it wouldn't be, because even in that state, and that state would be in some of the country, I would imagine, an actual third world country, in that state, we would all just be working our asses off to try to, get water to the crops. Okay.
And they have a larger happiness index, generally.
You might be able to argue that. Now, my other option is to employ leverage. Yeah. My other option is to employ leverage. As much leverage as I can possibly employ, which frankly isn't that much, but it's, by comparison, if we're going to compare me to, once again, our person who is my constituent in the third world, the amount of leverage I can employ is quite a lot by comparison. It's nothing compared to a Bezos or a Musk, but it is what I can do. So I apply that leverage, and then I make what I make out of that leverage. I get the result from that leverage. And instead of giving away all that I have and just going and being poor, I want to give away half of what I have, give it to legitimate charities, and keep the rest, and still be, by comparison, enormously wealthy compared to my compatriot in the third world country, and I have to live with a certain amount of guilt, because the only way that I can employ that leverage to give half of what I've got, which is a lot more than what I'll give away if I just give away all of it and then go be poor. The half is way more, is ultimately more. I'll lift more people in my own small way by doing that than the other. So I have to live with this guilt to do that much, and there you go. Now, those are the two modes that I see doing. If we want to kick against the system, the logical course of action that I can see is, okay, don't be part of that system. I'm not saying go live out in the woods and not participate. I'm saying
good luck.
Sell everything we've got.
Good luck. Yeah.
Let's go to sub-Saharan Africa, live and dig wells, and do whatever we can to apply whatever knowledge, whatever general knowledge we have that might, I wouldn't even say for sure, might be some skill that they don't have over in sub-Saharan Africa, and just contribute and live but poor, and probably die 20 to 30 years earlier than we would have otherwise because of the tsetse fly or whatever,
or malaria,
or whatever other it can get us there.
Right.
So the plan really is better to just go ahead and live with the guilt, live with the system, play Monopoly, apply as much leverage as I possibly can, give half.
Play the game.
I will lift more people. I will lift more people that way, and I will live longer to lift more people that way.
Yeah,
that's
not
just how I see it in a nutshell.
No, I think you're right.
And I got to play that game to do that.
Generally, you can't play another one. There isn't one. I
can't change the laws of physics, Jim.
Well, that we might be able to. I've been watching some interviews by Lex lately, and physics isn't quite as solidly placed as we probably think it is.
We're just getting more exact on the math, and so we find other things that we thought were such and such and are different now.
No, people are finding that the physics is only the way it is now because it happened to be that way from the start. It could be different. That's the multiverse type stuff. Yeah, physics could be different.
Well, that's just crazy talk.
They're wondering, with dark matter and dark energy and time, if those things aren't actually different other places. Relativity, Einstein and all that is dependent on, physics is dependent on whatever is true here in physics is true on the other side of the universe in physics. And they're finding out reality is only local, and so it might not be true. Physics might be different over there. But in the end here, I'm also of the mind that the end goal of what I see, because I've read a lot of sci-fi, what seems to be the end or the progress of evolution is intelligence and knowledge and progress. It's kind of a self-fulfilling thing. And the suffering of the individual in a species is less important than the success of the species. And so if our goal is to get off the planet, get into space, do cool sci-fi space stuff, colonize other planets, then the suffering of billions is insignificant to the welfare of trillions of unborn entities in the future. That doesn't make me feel good right now, though. Doesn't make me feel good now. Because if you go into the past, we're here in our greatness because of the suffering and disasters of the past. They sacrificed for the game so that we could be here, and squandering it is kind of squandering their efforts. I'm wrestling with all of that in my head, and I don't like it. Now that comes back to I don't like it. The whole math chart. I'm trying to bring it back because that's what we sort of agreed to, and
I'm not deviating.
No. In my head, this is all part of the same. This has been my week. This has been my week. Everything we're talking about now has been my week.
That's a very broad spectrum week.
I haven't been feeling well, so I've been watching a lot of videos, and again the algorithm. I've been letting the algorithm pull me along.